And greet you once more. I hope that you can see me. I don't see myself right now for some reason as part of the view of the Zoom webinars. But yes, I think everything should be fine. I'm a bit pale for some reason, but that's not important because I'm not the one who is important today. The topic is more important than me. My name is 𝗪ćić, and I'm not going to get deep into the subject that has brought us today. This is going to be done by our expert panel. With us today, we have Dr. 𝗪ćić, who is part of the OSCRAD project team since its inception. Dr. Mitev is the chairman of the Bulgarian Artificial Intelligence Institute, focused primarily on AI compliance matters in the public sector in particular, but not only. We have Ms. 𝗪ćić_𝗵𝗀𝗀, who is senior leading internal auditor under ISO 27001 and other certification frameworks. She has done internal auditing for numerous clients on a national and international level when it comes to verifying and improving the security of different internal information management systems. And we have also Yasen Tanev, who is Sashka is co-founder of the Women for Cyber Foundation in Bulgaria. She is working with me on different auditing projects, but working with them is also Mr. Yasen Tanev, who is also part of the founders of the AI Institute and the Women for Cyber in Bulgaria as part of the International Women for Cyber Network, which the ladies in the panel might be interested to join today. Not only the ladies, by the way, obviously from the representation of Yasen in the organization, it's open to all supporting the cause. But Yasen is also known for his participation as one of the leaders of the Cyber for All Star European Digital Innovation Hub, aka European Digital Innovation Hub Trachea. That's how the hub is known locally. He is also among the ones that, as a professor in lecturer in cybersecurity, is among the ones responsible for the cybersecurity profession, the framework that Bulgaria adopted recently under the broader ENISA cybersecurity educational framework. So he is deeply devoted to bringing awareness to the matters that we're going to be discussing today to the broader audience beyond the experts, or I would say he's deeply involved into building the next generation of cybersecurity experts. Having said that, I need to explain that he is not an exception at the Digital Innovation Hub. Me as also being part of the hub and also lecturing in cybersecurity and social engineering in particular, I'm pleased to be involved with the development of the profession in Bulgaria from practical implementation terms, and what we are doing today and what we have been doing since the last half a year is also focused on awareness raising, on education, but in particular when it comes to the application of the Cyber Resilience Act. So you are not in your quality as pupils, as students. Mostly the audience is comprised of experts in the field that are interested into, I would say, improving their awareness on this particular act as part of the broader cybersecurity European framework. But in a way, we are doing education, right? This is one of the main pillars of our OSCRAD project. The project itself can be best followed in the following way. Let me share my screen for just a few seconds. I promise not to do screen sharing today and leave you to our experts, but I need to say a few words. So we have the best way to follow 𝗪𝗀 over LinkedIn. 𝗪𝗀 itself stands for Open Source Cyber Resilience Act Tools. So we are trying through these webinars. The first part was 4 training sessions until December, and now we're doing more practical workshop sessions every month. Now this is the second out of 4 such workshops. Follow the page here for reminders to join also the next 2 in March and in April. But also follow the page for all other, I would say, topics of interest when it comes to development around the CRA. And then we have the LinkedIn feed incorporated in the 𝗪𝗀.eu website. From here you can learn, sorry about that, by the way, I have some messages notifications right now. The European Cybersecurity Organization is kicking off its foresight initiative around the future of cybersecurity training in Europe. So I didn't have time to switch off the messages despite leaving the meeting earlier to join you. So you would see these pop-ups from time to time. But the important thing here at 𝗪𝗀.eu, I'm not going to go through the website, is that from here you can learn more about the organization, the consortium behind these workshops. We are a team of experts from all across Europe, not only our colleagues from the Digital Innovation Hub Trakia and the WOCO Innovation Network from Bulgaria that comprise the panel of experts, but also we have colleagues from Estonia, from Romania, development teams, from Poland, R&D, I would say WOCO team, sub-team as part of the broader project, and the coordinators from Italy, from PMF Research. More about the project beyond the training part, beyond the awareness raising trainings and workshops is available here. One final thing to say is that our project, our initiatives that we are running under the 𝗪𝗀 logo and brand are funded by the European Commission through a call intended to support projects for enablement of the CRA implementation that was conducted through the European Cybersecurity Competence Center and is being conducted, basically executed. Yes, we are part of the EU, I would say, broader ecosystem around the CRA, and not only around all things digital, as our project is funded through the Digital Europe program, but we are not speaking today, neither today nor in any of the other sessions, on behalf of the European Commission. So if you have questions that we try to respond in relation to the regulation and the implementing acts, please keep in mind that what we are going to share and what we are generally sharing is our personal expert views only and are not related to the Commission. Given the fact that as I just said, our project is one of the few finance supported to support the enablement of the CRA implementation across the continent, here I decided to share that at cyberstand.eu/CRA-cluster. You can find information about the other projects that are funded under the same call and a few other calls, by the way. So this is like the hub for CRA support. Cyberstand.eu is supporting the people, the experts who are actually writing the technical specifications in relation to the CRA. We have Trust Boost, who are providing financing for the small and medium enterprises to level up their security in order for their products to be compliant with the CRA. And we have 𝗪𝗀, Octet, 𝗪𝗀, Curium, Secure, Cracovia, Cyberfront, CRY, and 𝗪𝗀. All of these projects are creating different systems, different tools intended to enable your compliance. For example, we are trying to enable compliance when it comes to vulnerability management, when it comes to risk management, when it comes to documentation of your products in a CRA compliant manner, when it comes to building or producing actually the software bill of materials that is also needed. But we are not covering it all. So the CRA is quite broad for those that need to show conformity to the Act in one way or another, whether through self-assessment or through internal conformity assessment. Therefore, for the value that we cannot provide directly under the 𝗪𝗀 project, you can look into what the other colleagues are doing and basically gather more value from more entities, more stakeholders. Lastly, but not least in terms of importance, for the bigger, broader, most full picture, you can simply follow the Cyber Resilience Act page under the European Commission digital strategy portal. And here you can find everything current, all the newest implementing acts, all the technical specifications that are going to be published. Is getting quite noisy around me, so I'm finishing my overview by saying that there is one other page I would like to invite you to follow, which is the X page of CyberSec.eu, of basically Digital Europe and the rest of EU Commission's digital activities, cybersecurity in particular. So all the most recent updates you can find here. By the way, here recently it was announced that there is another CRA dedicated focused portal intended to support in particular the CRA awareness raising across the Union. So of course the link is available on this page as well, but I will additionally in the chat send you the link and you can find it, as I said, on the social media of the European Commission. That's about all for today, dear colleagues. I will leave now the floor to you, and you would also be presenting our final panelist according to when you decide to do so, to unveil the secret of who is joining us today. Miroslav, the floor is yours, and you can take it from there. Thanks again for the attention to everyone.
Okay, thank you, Christian. Do you see my screen, my share screen? Yeah.
Yeah, very nice design of the slides for today. Thank you about that.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Again, today I will start a workshop. This workshop is called From Chaos to Control, Strategic Cyber Incident Management in a Complex Digital Environment. On the slide, you can see two pictures. On the left, there is a messy network with warning symbols. On the right, there is a clean, connected system that looks organized. This is our main idea today. We want to move from chaos during incidents to a controlled and repeatable way of working. Let me briefly present myself in addition with the presentation of Christian. My background combines management, system auditing, standardization, cybersecurity architecture, and incident response. This is important because 𝗪𝗀 project is not just a technical tool. It should in the interaction of standards, regulation, and operational practice. When we discuss ISO standards, NIST guidance, or CRA obligations, we must connect the theory to audit evidence and real operational workflows. The goal today is a practical alignment between compliance and operational reality. In the next 5 slides, I will briefly introduce what my colleagues and I will speak about in today's workshop. We will guide you through the structure and logic of the OSCAR program and explain how it connects regulatory requirements, international standards, and real operational practice. My personal focus today will be the practical NIST model. I would like to explain that during today's workshop, we will pay special attention to the international standards from the ISO 27035 series, which are dedicated to incident management. These standards give structure to incident management. Without structure, response becomes hero-driven and inconsistent. ISO 27035 introduces preparation, detection, and reporting, assessment, response, and lesson learned. It ensures documentation and auditability. This matters for CRA because regulation will not accept informal explanation. They will expect evidence of defined processes. ISO 27000 acts as the management container in which tactical NIST activities operate. I would like to share that my colleagues will focus on regulation, but not only as an obligation. They will present regulation as an advantage. The mindset has changed. In the past, many organizations saw regulation as a burden. Today, regulation is increase seen as a driver of quality, resilience, and market trust. I would like to introduce the topic that my colleague 𝗪ξη𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀 will present. She will explain the benefits of technologies for automated response and systems that support this approach. In modern cybersecurity environments, incidents happen very fast. Attackers use automation, artificial intelligence, and large-scale scanning tools. If organizations rely only on manual response, they will always be on step behind. This is why automated response technologies are becoming essential. 𝗪că will speak about solutions such as SWAR platforms, which stand for security orchestration, automation, and response. I would like to introduce the presentation of my colleague Iasen Tanev. He will explain the concept of unified platform for cyber resilience act incident management. Let's start with incident response and cyber risk management. We will not look only at the technical actions. We will connect incident response to cybersecurity risk management using CSF2 NIST. This is cybersecurity framework 2. NIST explains that incident response should be integrated across organizational operations, not kept in a technical corner. Let me clarify something. I choose today to talk about the standards from the ISO 27035 series and NIST because they are not well known among the public and even among many specialists, yet they provide a solid foundation for good presentation when an incident occurs. In Security Operations Center, for example, playbooks are widely used, but the overall approach to incident management is derived from these technical documents. NIST SP 800 revision 3 reflects a major evolution. Incident response is no longer treated as a standard-alone technical function. It is mapped to the cybersecurity framework second edition. This means incident response connect to governance, risk management, asset management, asset identification, and protection measures. Preparation is not a separate phase anymore. It is the cumulative result of a good governance, identification of assets, and protective controls. This is a conceptual shift. Incident response becomes part of continuous risk management, not just the emergency reaction. Earlier version of NIST guidance describes incident response as a linear sequence. Prepare, detect, contain, recover, and perform post-incident activities. The new thinking integrates response into enterprise risk management. Detect, response, and recover are supported by governance and identification function. Improvement is continuous. This means that lessons learned are not low priority. They feed back into risk assessment, control design, and investment decisions. Incident response becomes a feedback engine for the entire security program. Before we can respond, we must define what an incident is. Every organization generates events. A user login is an event. A system update is an event. An event becomes adverse when it has negative consequences, such as a crash. An incident is more specific. It is an adverse event that threatens confidentiality, integrity, or availability, or violates policy. Not every adverse event is an incident. Analysis is required to make that distinction. This classification step is critical because it triggers formal process and reporting obligations. In the integrated model, active handling sit on top, detect, response, recover. Below it is continuous improvement. At the foundation are governance, identification, and protection. Preparation means the result of strong policies, clear roles, asset management, and preventive controls. If governance is weak, detection will be blinked. If asset identification is incomplete, responders will not know what is critical. If protection is weak, incidents will be more frequent. Incident response is like a mirror. It reflects the maturity of the entire security system. Incident response is rarely handled by a single team. Managed security providers, cloud providers, legal advisors, HR, public relations, and sometimes law enforcement may be involved. The shared responsibility model is essential. Tasks can be outsourced. Accountability cannot. Service level agreements must define reporting timelines, evidence handling, and decision authority. During a crisis, ambiguity is a poison. From an audit perspective, unclear responsibilities are a common weakness. ISO 27035 requires explicit role definition. NIST assumes operational clarity. Without it, both frameworks fail in practice. Governance sets direction. Policies must explicitly cover incident response, not just general information security. A short paragraph in a security policy is not enough. Supply chain contracts should include incident reporting clauses. If a supplier detects a breach that affects your data, you need rapid notification. Incident decision must consider legal and reputational impact, not only technical severity. A minor technical issue may become major if it involves personal data or critical infrastructure. Governance connects incident response with business strategy. You cannot protect what do you not know. Asset management is foundational. Automated inventories help identify which systems are critical before an incident occurs. Threat intelligence supports analysis. By understanding attackers' tactics and techniques, organization can better interpret alerts. Vulnerability management records known weaknesses. During an incident, this information helps assess whether exploitation is likely. Identification activities reduce uncertainty during crisis. They give responders context. Protection control reduce impact and enable investigation. Logging in this situation is essential. Without logs, detection becomes guesswork. Logs must be protected from tampering and according to policy. Backups are the safety net. They must be tested regularly. Immutable backups are critical against ransomware. Training is often underestimated. Role-based exercise prepare teams to specific scenarios. A general awareness session is not enough for an incident commander or legal advisor. Protection is not about perfection, it is about resilience. Detection combines monitoring and analysis. Continuous monitoring collects signals from networks, endpoints, and cloud systems. Analysis reduces noise. Security information and event management tools correlate data. Automated playbooks enrich alerts with context. The pivot moment is declaration. When does an event become an official incident? Criteria must be predefined. Otherwise, teams hesitate and reporting deadlines may be missed. Clear declaration rules are essential for both operational efficiency and regulatory compliance. A response requires prioritization. Incidents should be not handled in the order they arrive. Impact and mission critically determine priority. forensics aims to understand root cause and preserve evidence. A chain of custody ensures evidence is legally defensible. Magnitude assessment asks a difficult question. Is this a single compromised device or a systemic breach? The answer shapes the entire response strategy. Response is structured chaos management. Mitigation and communication happen in parallel. Containment may include isolating system or blocking network segment. Eradication removes malicious code and disable compromised accounts. Communication has internal and external dimensions. Leadership and legal teams must be informed. Regulation and customer may require notification. Under Cyber Resilience Act, certain product-related incidents must be reported within defined timelines. Communication processes must support that obligation. Information sharing with peers strengthens collective defense. Recovery restores operations. Prioritization is based on business impact. Critical services return first. Integrity checks are essential. Restoring from backup without verifying clearly may reintroduce malware. Validation requires close monitoring after restoration. Attackers sometimes leave persistent mechanisms. Recovery is not to end. It is a tradition back to normal operation with high trend awareness. Continuous improvement is the engine of resilience. Inputs include real incidents, tabletop exercise, and simulation. Root cause analysis goes beyond immediate technical triggers. It examines process weaknesses, training gaps, and governance failures. Outputs include updated policies, improved detection rules, and refined trainings. Improvement should be continuous, not limited to formal post-incident meetings. Metrics and regular reviews keep the loop active. From an exclusive perspective, 5 actions matter. Integrate incident response with expertise risk management, enterprise risk management. Define the shared responsibility clearly. Prioritize based on impact. Use threat intelligence operationally. Test plans regularly. Executives do not need to know technical details. They need assurance that their system works under stress. Incident response is a leadership issue. Key references include NIST SP 8061, revision 3, and ISO 27000, part 1, 2, and 3. These documents provide detailed guidance. However, guidance alone does not create capability implementation, measurement, and improvement do. Frameworks are maps. Organizations must still walk the terrain. Now, I continue to the ISO 27035, part 1 standard, which defines principles and concepts for information security incidents. It explains terminology, roles, and high level lifecycle phases. It emphasizes management responsibility, documentation, and integration with other management systems such as ISO 27001. Part 1 sets the philosophy. It frames incident management as an organizational capability, not just a technical reaction. The ISO lifecycle includes preparation, detection, and reporting, assessment and detection, responses, and lesson learned. Compared to NIST, ISO provides more explicit guidance on documentation and governance. It is designed to be auditable. NIST provides more detailed operational advice. ISO ensures that operations are embedded in management structure. They are complementary, not contradictory. Policies alone cannot guarantee protection. Controls reduce risk, but don't eliminate it. Residual vulnerabilities always exist. New threats emerge constantly. Complex systems create unexpected interactions. Incident management accepts this reality. It does not promise perfect prevention. It prepares for failure. Resilience means the ability to absorb shock and recover. Distinguishing between event and incident is central in ISO 27035. An information security event indicates a possible issue. Assessment criteria determine whether it becomes an incident. An incident confirms harm or a serious threat. A clear criteria prevent both overaction and underreaction. Overaction wastes resources, and underreaction creates regulatory and business risk. The 5-phase ISO model starts with planning and preparation. It continues with detection and reporting, then assessment and decision responses, and lessons learned. Part 2 of ISO 27035 provides detailed guidance for planning and preparation for lesson learned. Part 3 focuses on incident response operation. This operation reflects ISO thinking. Management and operation are connected but distinct. Planning is the foundation. Policies must define scope and objectives. Top management commitment is critical. Without it, resources and authority will be insufficient. The incident response team should include technical, legal, and communication roles. Training ensures readiness. Testing through simulation validates assumptions. Tabletop exercise review weaknesses in communication and decision making. Preparation is investment in future stability. Detection and data collection capture information before full classification. Monitoring system lock activity detection, identify anomalies or control failures. Evidence must be collected securely and preserved. Reporting ensures traceability. All actions and decisions should be logged. We support failure analysis, and this support failure analysis and potential legal proceedings. Without disciplined data collection, assessment becomes speculation. Assessment is the pivot. Detected events enter triage and review. Some are classified as non-incidents and closed with documentation. Others are declared incidents. A severity classification evaluates impact and urgency. Decision must be documented to maintain an audit trail. This phase connects analysis with formal response activation. It is where uncertainty is reduced through structured evaluation. Clear assessment logic protects the organization from arbitrary decisions. Once incident is formally declared, the organization enters the coordinated response phase. This is where theory meets pressure. The incident response team activates predefined procedures. Communication channels are established. Decision authority becomes critical. ISO 27000 emphasize that response actions must align with previously defined plans. NIST provides tactical depth on containment and irradiation techniques. Together, they ensure that actions are both effective and controlled. Improvised heroics may look impressive, but they are risky. Structured response reduces mistakes. Under stress, people forget processes remember. Containment is often misunderstood. It is not the same as eradication. Containment focuses on stopping spread and limiting damage. It buys time. For example, isolation a compromised server from the network prevents lateral movement. Disabling affected accounts stop for further abuse. There are short-term and long-term containment strategies. Short-term actions are immediate and sometimes disruptive. Long-term containments may involve temporary system change until full remediation is complete. NIST describes containers carefully because poor containments can destroy forensic evidence or interrupt critical services. Eradication removes the root cause. Malware is deleted, vulnerabilities are patched, misconfiguration are corrected, compromised credentials are reset. However, eradication requires confidence in analysis. Removing visible malware without understanding the entry point may allow reinfection. This is where forensic discipline matters. Evidence collection and chain of custody procedures described in ISO 27035 and supported by NIST guidance protect both technical integrity and legal defensibility. Eradication is surgery. Precision matters more than speed. Decision-making during incidents must balance speed and risk. Some decisions are technical, others are strategic. Should we shut down a production system to stop an attack? They may protect data but interrupt business operations. ISO 27035 highlights the role of management in assessment and decision. NIST focuses on technical execution. Together, they form a decision ecosystem. Good organization define escalation in advance. For example, incidents affecting personal data or critical infrastructure automatically trigger executive involvement. Communication during incidents is a discipline of its own. Internal communication ensures that leadership, legal teams, and relevant departments are informed. Clear messaging prevents rumors. External communication may involve regulation, customers, partners, or law enforcement. Under the Cyber Resilience Act and other regulation, timelines can be strict. Messages must be accurate, consistent, and legally reviewed. Over disclosure can create panic. Under disclosure can violate law. A communication plan prepared in advance reduces chaos. Documentation is not bureaucracy, it is protection. Every decision, action, and communication should be recorded. This creates an audit trail. In case of regulatory review or litigation, documentation demonstrates diligence. ISO 27035 strongly emphasizes documentation. From an auditing perspective, undocumented action might as well not exist. NIST also support record keeping, especially for lessons learned and improvement. Recovery is more than turning system back on. It is controlled restoration. Systems are rebuilt or restored from backups. Integrity checks confirm that restored systems are clean. Monitoring is increased during early recovery. Prioritization follow business impact analysis. Critical services return first. Non-essential services may wait. NIST provides operational guidance for recovery testing. ISO ensures that recovery aligns with business continuity plans. Recovery reconnects incident response with resilience. For now, this is my last presentation. Now I give the floor to my colleague Yasen Tanev. He will speak for regulation in action. Yasen, do you hear me? I will stop my sharing.
Yes, I can hear you. Let me get ready with my stuff.
By the way, while Yasen is turning on the sharing of his slides, I just wanted to let you know, in case you are joining us for the first time, that this session, apart from being recorded and having access to the recording, it will be available in terms of slides being shared directly after the meeting. I will send you in the chat window a direct link to our Google Drive repository, from where after the meeting you'll be able to access the slides and look at them again. Miroslav shared very valuable QR codes to the underlying resources, to the underlying standards in the field of risk management, because risk management is what we are currently looking into. We will have a module, risk management module, on the 𝗪𝗀 platform to help you manage the risks related to your products, as this is a major pillar part of the Cyber Resilience Act. So today we're focusing on this, but inside the repository you'll be able to see the materials related to the other tools and functionalities, covering, as I previously said, vulnerabilities, documentation, and also initial slides around what the CRA is, what it means for you as companies selling, developing, distributing products with digital components. So all the basic stuff from the trainings from September to December 2025, they're also available in the repository. Bookmark it and make sure to check regularly for new content. Now looking forward to what Jason has prepared on the matter of risk management.
Hello, everyone. So you can see, and I always wish to state it when I'm doing presentation, is that the use of AI is not a bad thing. It even enrich our functionality and capabilities. So to create my presentation, I used the Google Notebook LLM product, and I'm using it actively as a university professor, and also when I'm studying and teaching and collaborating with people that decided to choose my education programs and the pre-education programs of our team. It's very important to be able to properly feed the. Just give me 1 second. I need really to pick up for.
Yes, indeed. Yes, and the quality of the sound was not very good. Maybe you can try to reconnect or change the audio source.
Do you hear me now better? How it is this way?
I think probably slightly better. It sounds like something related to your Wi-Fi or network connectivity, a bit like distorted, like a bit distorted.
Yeah,
Let's see.
yeah.
Let's see.
And is it better this way?
It's perfect now. Whatever
Super.
it was, you fixed it.
Okay, so it's very interesting to use the AI technology, but you need to feed it with the proper data, and then you need to really to control what you're wishing to receive, and then it's very important to verify the results. So probably, Christian, in the next session, we can become a little bit even more brave, so we can start to share interactive environments for collaborating with our knowledge, or get all the knowledge that we make for the OSCAR and put it in this kind of collaborative platform and infrastructure.
Yes,
but
in March you'll be able to, as we speak, log in the platform in its beta release, create your account, and go through the modules that we're going to discuss. As of today, the risk management module is ready, but we are not ready to demonstrate it, unfortunately.
I was meaning to put our presentation and know-how in Notebook LM or kind of.
For Notebook LM, the only thing I can add, Jasen, is that over the weekend I had a social engineering examination with students, and Notebook was performing the best in terms of presentation tool. It was helping the students that decided to use it to extract and demonstrate their most precise, concise ideas in the best possible manner, as there are many tools on the market. Many of them are free, like Gamma.app and others, but Notebook LM that you're using is the best that I can recommend. Speaking as an expert, not on behalf of the project or the commission.
Yeah, well, we can try to play with it. So I'm throwing really the goal so we can see how it's going to happen. But let's get in practice. So the idea of my presentation is always, don't get stressed. Just understand what's standing in front of you. Get the difference, and you probably can survive with less stress and be helpful and useful. So this is why I'm calling it regulation in action, because we're going to talk about the single reporting platform. With Miroslav, you've been talking about the good ways of managing the environments, to detect the events, how to be smart, and how to get better. But I'm going to talk about what brings, on the practical way, the CRA and especially the single reporting platform. So the next slide that I believe it's very, very important to be understood, and this is what dramatically changed the European landscape. Miro was talking about the ISO. Great. There are rules, there are requirements, but everything there is voluntary. So you can do it or you cannot do it. You can do it on how for you don't have any other obligation because it's an internal case. What is changing now is that in the context of the CRA and the device which are falling into the scope of the CRA, then it's not anymore voluntary. You cannot be quiet because when you're aware, and you're going to understand later, when you're aware, you should act. So it's not far away. On the 9/11, I think it's 25 years after the incident of the towers, they're going to be opened the new single reporting platform where every producer or distributor is going to have the legal obligation. It's a mandatory to report. Then we're going to see what is who is in the scope and what is the time frames. But you should understand that before that, it's a flexible times. It's an internal mitigation. Now you have 24 hours after you're aware to move and to act. So to whom this apply? I like this diagram very much. And I'm going to tell you why. So there are simple questions that can be answered. Are you putting a product with digital element on the EU market? If you want to understand what is a product with digital element, it's written in the CRA. We discussed this before. So here, if you have yes, then here is the tricky question. So is it marketed under your name or trademark? And if it's marked under your name or your trademark, you're going to be treated as a manufacturer. This is really, really important to be understood. Because no matter that you're reselling, if you're rebranding and you're owning and you're selling under your name, then you're becoming the manufacturer and you're going to be liable. And this is very interesting that in Article 21, it's stated that if you modify the product, so you do some small changes, I don't know, is the labeling of the keyboards small changes? But if you modify that, I think it's not the case. But if you're doing small changes or you're branding it, then you really become a manufacturer. So be very honest. Did you change something on the product? Did you rebrand it? Then it goes for you. So imagine that you're importing a headphones or other baby toys or souvenirs, and you're branding it with your name and you're giving it to your partners for Christmas. Is it this rebranding? I suppose yes. So this is a thing that we need to think and understand and get deeper. Then in the CRA, as it is mandatory, there are two triggers. This is the moment where the clock starts to count. And the reason that you should start to count is that you have actively exploited vulnerability. And if you have the incident. So the two definitions are interesting. They're written into the Cyber Resilience Act. And when you are having the actively exploited vulnerability, this means that you are aware that this is happening. And it's a very interesting question to talk about the awareness, but we're going to talk later. But if you have a reliable evidence that somebody, bad guy, is using the sorry for a second, that somebody is using your faults and vulnerabilities so you can be attacked, then this is a moment that you should start the clock. And also, if there is a severe incident, I need to mute my Teams because it's going to break the presentation.
Well, we will be able to log this as an incident and demonstrate the next steps.
There is no vulnerable information leaked, but this is when you see that there is something who is disturbing you, just go and shut it down. So the first thing is the incident. If you have an idea that somebody actively exploits your systems and you have evidences, and he's doing this without permission in the wild, then you mean that you have the actively exploited vulnerability. The second thing is a severe incident. And this is the topic that you should consider the incident to be related to the properties. Sorry, guys, I'm going to really to shut down all the noise that comes from me. Okay, do you see my screen? Everything's fine, yes? Back?
Yes, everything looks great.
Yeah, so we should consider the incidents in the context of integrity, availability, and confidentiality. And we also should consider that this impact is significant. So it's not reporting everything. And here is the question, what is significancy? But this is really the question to the distributors and manufacturers, which they should be very open. And if they believe that something is close to actively exploited vulnerability and even severe incident, my recommendation is to report it because it's also allowed to report the near misses. The idea here is that you're preventing the other. So if you're able to report the near misses, then why not reporting them if you're sure that they can do the impact on the product security functionality? And I believe that the Commission is going to be more detailed later when defining the boundaries, but more or less the producer and distributor should take care about his product security, and they should be the proactive side without hiding, but let's say be more open when they're sharing. And this is what I was saying, that the moment when the clock starts to click, it's written not very clearly into the act. Because the exact sentence, they're saying that you have 24 hours when you become aware. And you see that become aware is not a very clear point, but I can summarize it if you have enough validated information that somebody exploited your vulnerabilities, or you're having the incident which influence the integrity, availability, and confidentiality of the information. So if you are near to this stage, just get ready, act. Don't wait the perfection. But if you have reliable evidences, start the clock. They're not going to penalize you if you being honest, but you're going to get a penalty if you try to hide something. And if it's known, then probably you're not the only one who knows about it. This is what was discussed by the Miroslav about the reporting concept. So we're having here the let's call it the manufacturer. Then we have the entry point, which is a single entry point. It's going to be available on the 11th of September. Then it's going to be routed to the necessary member states and to the NISA agencies. we're going to discuss the question later to which entry point you should report, and it's also very interesting as a definition and flexibility of the reporting. So what should be done if you are sure enough that there is a exploited vulnerability or that there is a significant incident? Then in the first 24 hours, you should submit a very brief report which says what's going on, just to aware the others who are probably using your products or can be dependent from it that something is going on. So it's like a hurricane early warning, because you know that the first village was exposed to headwinds. Then on the 72-hour, you should really understand what's going on to get some more information and to be able to assume more details. And then up to 30 days, you should provide the more detailed information about what was the reason, what you've done, how you fix it, how you mitigate it. Some reports can be extended in the time, but this is a special clauses, and this is really when the failures are huge with a high impact. And when you're reporting, definitely you should say which is the product. There is a form. What is the nature? Is it exploit or is it incident? What are the affected member states? Because when you're selling, probably you're doing the tracking. And if you suspect somebody, just say the idea is that you should aware the network of Europeans and citizens and companies that this thing is happening. Then on the T72, as you mentioned, general product info, initial impact assessment, mitigation taken and actions for the user. So you also should classify the sensitivity of the information which leaked. As we mentioned, the T30, then you're doing a root cause analysis, full impact metrics, what fixes you meant. If you know, and if you're sure which is your threat actor that was involved, just to mention it. And then after you have the fixes, you should distribute them. After 1 month, you need to generate a report. So it means that the reporting is not enough. The reporting is just giving a transparency and awareness, and probably compensation controls can be implemented this time. I want to introduce you here the comparison between some of the acts. Because in different acts, there are different triggers. And is it possible in some cases multiple acts to be triggered? Yes, and even more than 3 of them. But in this case, we know the GDPR from a long time ago. So what was the trigger for the GDPR? It was a data breach where personal data was involved, and the DPA and the controllers and the regulatory authorities were aware about this. Then when you're having the NIST, because it's a service business continuity topic, so we're talking about significant incidents which are leading to service disruption. And then we should connect to the competent authorities which are defined by different sectors. And then when you're talking about the CRA, in the focus is the product. And the trigger is exploit and severe incident, and you should contact the CSIRT and ENISA. We have different triggers. But can a hack shooter, which is leaking user data, can trigger all of them? Definitely. And if you're having somewhere over there, artificial intelligence, probably the things can become more messy. Who you should put in your compliance team? Then definitely we're having the CEO of the manufacturer, because he's the legal owner of the risk, because he signs for this, that he accepts the risk. And then when you throw it back to what Miroslav was talking about, the ISO, frameworks and the support from the management, the context, this is where the CEO is taking his responsibility. So the boss is responsible. It's interesting here again to get back to the question who is the representative of the product. If you're EU producer, then it's you. If you're rebranding, then you're the one who rebranded it. If you're having a distributor who is presenting your products in the EU and he represented you, so he is taking the responsibilities. But there is a very interesting case that there is an option that you don't have a specific representative in the region. And then the question is to which point you should report. And what the CRA says is that you should report to the market which you have biggest penetration. So the first thing is the CEO, he takes the responsibility, the accountable, he's accountable. Then who is responsible? This is the product security team, because they should understand, is it significant? Is it exploited in the wild? And to be honest and transparent. So they should do the forensic, the analysis, then they should fill the SRP reports. My advice is when you're talking about relation, it's always good to have a good legal. They're part of your team or they're external, but you should always consult with them, because the minimum thing that you should understand is, are you treated as a manufacturer or you treated as distributor? And then my understanding is that it's very important in your internal guidelines to have definition of what means awareness. And then you should have somebody to communicate, because if something gets wrong, you need to have the proper people which understanding the communication to be involved. So find somebody who is able to communicate, speak publicly, and to keep the trust of the customers. This is reputation that we are talking. So it's not dangerous if you're in control. A small checklist we're going to talk about, we're going to demonstrate it later, but know your software bill of materials, do monitoring about the active exploits, because you're not exclusion from the system, you can be fitting the interest. Then create a team that can react fast, be ready to provide information and register with your national CSIRT. If you find the issue, if you report it, if you're causing these terrible moments of your product, don't forget that you should deploy the patches and report what is the final effect. Some fines. Don't be stressed from the numbers. If you fix the things before that, no issue. Cause the risk, you should recall or withdraw the product. You can be banned from selling EU, and it can damage your reputation. If you look at my previous 12 slides, then the situation can be really good. And if you're using our Oscar platform where you can control everything, it's really more simple than it was in the beginning when we started to read it in the CRA. So CRA is not difficult if you're taking it seriously. And I'm closing it. Wait, but don't wait till then. Start to get ready. Do some trainings. So we can support you from the Oscar project, but also from the Digital Innovation Hub tracker with our services. And get ready to know your products better, to report vulnerabilities if you find such. And you should understand that cyber resilience, it's a condition to build the market. There is no choice, and I believe this is good for the European products. It's good for the European citizens. So I'm feeling positive. Don't stress. Just be reasonably secure and be cautious on incidents and if somebody exploits your products. Thank you. This was from me.
Thank you, Yasin, very much. I'm inviting the audience once again to raise any questions that there might be. And while we are waiting for the next panelist to take the floor, I just wanted to show you one thing provoked by what Yasin just said, that we are available. Indeed, we are. Apart from organizing these online workshops, seminars as part of the Cyber Resilience Act cluster with the other projects I just showed you, we do on-site events. So the next such event is actually, as you can see, tomorrow in Turin. It has an online opportunity to join. Many of the sessions actually would be, let me move my view from the screen that I'm sharing. So many of the panelists that would be speaking are present and would be speaking in Italian. But of course, it's a bit early for you to travel to Turin, and I don't think we have people from over there. But if you can follow lectures, panel discussions in Italian and or in English, you can join online. Still time to register for the event. So this is what is the next imminent opportunity for you to basically get up to speed with our project and the rest of the tools. I made a mistake earlier when Mirosław completed his first half of the presentation. I concluded that he did a very good presentation on risk management. In fact, we're speaking about incident management. But to ignore such, I would say, errors of speech, what we're going to do is to upload with the presentation very nice template showing the main value proposition for each of the projects. So you will be able to see that we do have, we're going to have a module managing incident response, a module managing risk and compliance management for you on the 𝗪𝗀 platform. But you'll also be able to see through this brochure information concerning the functionalities that are going to be present in the other colleagues' platforms. For example, on the 𝗪𝗰𝗶𝗀 platform, you'll be able to access functionalities related to pen testing, as an example, something that we do not have. But today we are speaking about incident response, and I'm not going to go into the other topics. If for some of you this is a surprise, the level of deepness that we are going into today's workshop, focusing on standards, focusing on expectations related specifically to incident management and to nothing else, then I can also recommend you another opportunity that is basically beyond the corner, as they say. Our colleagues from the 𝗪cie project will have, actually they call it crazy, or it's a game with words. So I call it 𝗪cie. So they would have an online workshop on the essential requirements under the CRA. Not a deep dive as we do in one particular direction every month. This is the point of our workshops. But if you have missed the basics, the foundations, the one-on-one of CRA, then join 𝗪cie experts on March 2nd. Register on their website, as you can see from my screen. This is their website. I don't know, you can make a screenshot. Actually, I will just share this in the chat window. And again, make sure to follow us on all of the social media, so you can see these opportunities that I'm currently sharing exclusively for you online. So going back after this small break, expecting questions and receiving none. Going back to the main panelists today. Miro, Sascha, Yasin, please take the floor and continue ahead. Apologies for the, I would say, the side quest that I did over here.
Now, Sascha will be panelist. Sascha, are you ready?
Yes, of course, but I think that Duffy is before me. I don't know, but he's not in the panelist
Is this
list.
Duffy available? Can she connect?
Christian, could you please?
Yeah. Sorry, guys, for everyone. I did it earlier, but as probably she reconnected, as 𝗪𝗪𝗀𝗪 reconnected. She is not indeed currently a panelist. And now I think she is. Yes. So now we would be able to hear Daphne at any point in time convenient. Daphne, now you should be able to unmute yourself.
If you can see me.
Yes, perfectly.
Hey, Daphne.
Hello. Nice to see you. So just one sec. I want to share my screen. Just one. Can you see my screen?
No, I can't.
Maybe here.
Yeah.
Yes. Now we see it perfectly.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. Good day. Today we are discussing landmark change in Europe, the Cyber Resilient Act, turning regulatory challenge into competitive advantages. So my name is 𝗪𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗀𝗀𝗪. I work as an operational technical security consultant, and I'm a cyber resilient and compliance specialist. With my background as a data security and incident response expert and a former SOC analyst, my primary focus is helping organizations transform compliance into operational resilience. I'm also a proud member of Women for Cyber Bulgaria. What it matters, instead of starting with the law, I want to start with reality. In the last few years, we have seen software updates that infected thousands of devices, ransomware shutting down hospitals and factories, vulnerabilities in small components affecting millions of products worldwide. Most of these incidents had one thing in common. Security was reactive, not building. Not embedded, not structured, not accountable. The Cyber Resilient Act changes that environment completely, not because it explains cybersecurity, but because it forces organizations to prepare for incidents before they happen. From my perspective as a consultant, CRA is not a theory. So just one second. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Just one second, because from my perspective as a consultant, CRA is not a theory. It's a framework built around one simple idea. If an incident happens tomorrow, can you prove you were prepared? This is not about whether a product connects to the internet. This is about exposure. If your product sends data, receives updates, or connects to cloud infrastructure, or release on third-party code, then it is part of digital ecosystem that can be attacked. And we've learned something from a recent incident. The weakest component often bring down the strongest system. Password managers, firewalls, industrial controller, when they fail, they don't fail quietly. They create systemic risk. My role, preparing for the incident before it happens. As an operational technical security consultant, my job is not to explain the wall. My job is to prepare organization for the day something goes wrong, because eventually something always does. Step 1, deep dive interviews. I don't ask, do you have security? I ask who gets alert at 2 a.m. If a vulnerability is discovered. How fast can you deploy a fix? Who has access to the source code? Can a developer accidentally introduce a supply chain risk? And who owns the risk, the incident response process? Unclear ownership during incidents increase damage exponentially. We are not checking boxes. We are identifying the incident waiting to happen. Step 2 is architecture review. Every incident leaves a trace in architecture. This is data flows, trust boundaries, external connections, cloud dependencies. Poor architecture is often the root cause of large-scale breaches. If data leaves the device unencrypted, that's exposure. If authentication is weak, that's exposure. If update mechanisms are not secure, that's systemic exposure. Incidents don't start with hackers, they start with architectural blind spots. Step 3 is the 𝗪𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, the incident map. One of the biggest risks today is supply chain compromise. An 𝗪𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, is not just an ingredient list, it is your emergency map. When a new vulnerability like 𝗪𝗵𝗴𝗀 appears, the question is, can you identify within hours whether you are affected, or will it take weeks? Without an 𝗪𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, organization cannot respond fast to supply chain vulnerabilities. The difference between those who answer determines whether you have a manageable incident or crisis. Building the evidence. When we prepare documentation, we are not preparing paperwork. We are preparing defensibility. Penetration testing, we simulate attackers, not to show weakness, but to remove uncertainty. If a product has never been tested under pressure, it is not secure, it is simply untested. Automatic updates. One of the biggest incident multipliers is the inability to patch. If vulnerability is discovered, can the company identify affected products, prepare a fix, deploy it remotely, or track successful installation? If the answer is low or unclear, the incident escalates. CRA forces clarity here. Documentation as incident defense systems. After interviews and technical reviews, we built the core documentation. This is where most companies realize their blind spot. Gap analysis, where the incident code emerged. A gap analysis shows where really differs from requirement, where processes exist only informally, where evidence is missing, and where risk is undocumented. Every gap is a potential risk scenario. Risk assessment facing the real scenarios. The risk assessment is where we ask what happens if credentials are leaked, update server are compromised, third-party libraries contain critical vulnerabilities, insiders misuse privileged access, ransom spreads internally, data is filtrated. We evaluate likelihood, impact, mitigation, not based on imagination, based on evidence. If evidence is missing, that becomes risk. If control is weak, that becomes exposure. Real world incidents, why this is not theoretical. Everything we discussed is not hypothetical. We have already seen what happens when resilience is missing. 𝗪𝗵𝗴𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 2021, a single vulnerable open source library affected millions of systems globally. Many companies did not even know they were using it. The real issue was not the vulnerability itself, it was the lack of visibility. Without an 𝗪𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, organizations spent weeks asking, are we exposed? That they turned a vulnerability into a global crisis. Sour wine supply chain. Attackers compromise the software update mechanism. The update digitally signed it and sorry for this one. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I just want to start one more time for this SolarWinds supply chain attack. So for this one, attackers compromise the software update mechanism. The update digitally signed and trusted accurate malicious code. Thousands of organizations, including governments, installed it. If your update process is compromised, your entire trust model collapses. CRA directed addresses this through secure update requirements and supply chain transparency. I want to say also for one more ransomware attack, like WannaCry, hospitals were forced to cancel surgeries, factories stopped production, critical infrastructure was disrupted, the vulnerability was known, a patch existed, but the update had not been applied. This is not a technical failure. It is a process failure. CRA forces manufacturers to ensure that patching is possible, manageable, and documented. I also want to say something for the colonial pipeline. A single compromised credential led to a fuel supply disruption across the United States. No sophisticated zero-day, no advanced exploit, just a weak access control. Reporting to 𝗫𝗎𝗀 accountability. Submission to 𝗫𝗎𝗀 is not symbolic. It represents accountability. The documentation package demonstrates that risks were identified, that vulnerabilities are managed, that updates are controlled, that security is systematic, not accidental. 𝗫𝗎𝗀 is not supply reviewing compliance. It is ensuring that products entering the EU market will not become the next headline incident. Support the final perspective. For smaller companies, this can feel overwhelming, but here is what I tell my clients. Incidents are far more expensive than compliance. Regulatory fines, reputational damage, customer loss, and also operational downtime. EU grants such as Secure and Cyberstand EU help reduce the financial burden. But the real value is resilience. My final message is simple. The Cyber Resilient Act is not about explaining cybersecurity. It's about reducing the probability and impact of the next major incident. Security is no longer optional. Preparation is no longer theoretical. Accountability is no longer negotiable. And the organization that prepare early will not just comply, they will be trusted. And this is my final words, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Daphne. The presentation of the different incidents that you outlined can take hours. There are books written on SolarWinds and the rest of them. So if anyone is interested, I would be happy to actually share these books as I have them in our online library. But the point here is to basically deliver the message that tracking incidents, reporting them in a centralized manner as a requirement for the products themselves under the CRA, for the organizations under NIS2, is not something to be considered as a burden, but the message is that this should be considered as a necessity in order to save you money, in order to save you expenses in broader terms that basically would be caused not only by the attackers themselves, but then by the regulators who enforce compliance and create certain requirements for you and your products with digital elements. So I believe Daphne delivered, transmitted this message loud and clear, and there is nothing else to add. Now we can move to Sashka, maybe with or without cut towards Miro. Sashka, I think the floor is yours. We can continue with your presentation, and in the meanwhile, check your chat, because I will be sharing the link towards the resources from today's session and from the previous ones, as previously promised.
Okay, I try to share my presentation. I don't know if you can see now.
The screen is visible, but we are waiting for the presentation. Now the presentation is visible as well. Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. And for me, I would like to continue with the discussion about incident response management. We have already talked about frameworks and different regulations. Just to, yeah. I want to focus on something more practical. Because modern incident response is no longer just a written process, it is an operational capability. And the environment has changed. Attackers automate their attacks. They scan automatically. They exploit vulnerabilities within minutes. They move fast, but in many organizations, response is still manual. As analysts receive an alert, they check logs, they investigate step by step, and this takes time. And time is exactly what we don't have during a real incident. So I think the key is how do we move beyond manual response, and how do we respond at scale, and also how do we build systems that work together, not in isolation. So I will explore how automation, orchestration, and integrated incident response ecosystem OTIS. My name is 𝗪ში𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗀, and Christian has already introduced me, for which I thanks to him. I will try to be faster because of the time, and let's start with reality. Most organizations today received very high number of security alerts every day, sometimes hundreds, sometimes thousands. These alerts come from different systems, from CM, from EDR, from firewalls, from cloud platforms, from different vulnerability scanners, and each tool works well on its own, but often they do not work together. This creates complexity, and analysts must switch between systems. They check logs manually, correlate information step by step, and this takes time. And during the active attack, time, as I mentioned, is critical. We also face another problem, a word fatigue. When analysts receive too many alerts, it becomes difficult to identify what is truly important. Some alerts are false positive, some are low risk, but hidden between them might be a real incident. At the same time, attackers move fast. Ransomware can spread in minutes. Data can be exfiltrated quickly. Automated tools can scan the internet constantly. So we have a gap. Attackers operate at machine speed, but defenders often respond at human speed. And this gap creates a risk. If we continue to respond manually in a highly automated threat landscape, we create imbalanced. An imbalance leads to incidents. This is the problem, and a little bit about incident response. They didn't start with automation. It started as a manual activity. In the beginning, everything was done by people. An alert appeared and analysts investigated them. Actions were taken manually. And this worked when environments were smaller. Then organizations implement SIEM, or Security Information and Event Management Systems. Now we could collect logs in one place. We could correlate events. We could detect suspicious patterns. Detection improved, but response was still mostly manual. Next came the SOC model. Security teams become more structured. We'll introduce playbooks. We define rules and responsibilities. We aligned with different frameworks like ISO 2735000 and NIST. This was a big improvement, but still, analysts had to execute many steps manually. Then SOAR platforms appeared. Automation became possible. Repetitive tasks could be executed automatically. Tools could communicate with each other. And now we are entering the next phase, not just automation of tasks, but integrated ecosystems, where CM, EDR, threat intelligence, vulnerability management, and case management systems work together. So incident response is no longer just a process. It has become an interconnected operational system. Now let's talk about SOAR. SOAR stands for Security Orchestration, Automation, and Response. But what does this really mean in practice? First, orchestration. Orchestration means connecting different tools, CM, EDR, firewalls, threat intelligence platform, and ticketing systems. Instead of working separately, these tools can now communicate and share information automatically. And second, automation means that repetitive and time-consuming tasks can be executed automatically. For example, checking an IP address against threat intelligence feeds, or sending a suspicious file to a sandbox, or blocking a malicious domain, disabling a compromised user account also. And third, response. SOAR platforms execute predefined playbooks. These playbooks describe step-by-step actions for common scenarios. For example, phishing or ransomware on unauthorized access. And very important, SOAR does not replace analysts. It supports them. It reduces manual work, it reduces errors, and it allows analysts to focus on critical decisions. For governance perspective, SOAR also improves traceability, and every action is documented, every step is recorded. This supports compliance with regulations, NIS2, DORA, and of course, internal corporate procedures and policies. Let's look at a simple and common example, a phishing email. Without automation, the process usually looks like this. An alert is generated, an analyst opens the case, they manually check the email headers, they extract the URL, they check the IP addresses in threat intelligence platforms, They send the file or link to sandbox. If it is malicious, they manually block the domain. They manually notify the user. They document everything in a ticketing system. And this process can take 20, 30, or sometimes 60 minutes. And now imagine dozens of such awards per day. So with automation, the situation changes. The award is received. The system automatically enriches the data. It checks threat intelligence feeds. It submits the file to Sandbox. It calculates the risk score, which is important. It is if the risk is high, it can automatically block the domain, guarantee the email, or isolate the endpoint. The analyst does not start from zero. They review a complete enriched case. Instead of investigation from scratch, they validate and make a decision. This significantly reduces the mean time to respond. And in a ransomware scenario, reducing response time can prevent lateral movement and data loss. Every action is logged. Every decision is traceable. And this is extremely important for reporting obligations and for audits. Automation becomes truly powerful when it is structured through a playbooks. Playbooks is a predefined response scenario. It describes what should happen step by step from a specific type of incident. For example, a phishing playbook, a ransomware playbook, or an authorized access playbook. Each playbook defines actions, decision point, and escalation rules. And when these playbooks are automated, the system can execute many steps automatically. It can collect logs, enrich data, block indicators, open tickets, notify responsible teams. This creates standardization. The response is no longer dependent on who is on the shift. It becomes consistent, repeatable, and it becomes controlled. And from a governance perspective, so automated playbooks reduce risk. They reduce human error under pressure. They ensure that critical steps are not skipped, and they create a complete audit trail. Every action is watched, every decision is documented. And this is extremely important for compliance framework, such as NIS2, DORA, you know. Now let's talk about artificial intelligence. AI supports triage. Triage means deciding which alerts are truly important. In a large environment, thousands of alerts may be generated daily. AI system can analyze patterns. They can compare behavior to historical data, and they can detect anomalies. For example, unusual login behavior, abnormal data transfer, unexpected privilege escalation. And also AI can assign a risk score to an alert. This helps analysts focus on high-risk incident first. AI support decision-making. It does not replace our accountability. Final responsibility always remains with humans. AI also helps reduce false positives. When analysts spend too much time on low risk alerts, real threats may be missed. And automation alone is not enough if we automate it without context. It's my lovely thing. We only respond faster, but we may still respond blindly. This is where the threat intelligence becomes critical. Threat intelligence provides context. It tells us which vulnerabilities are actively exploited, which IP addresses are malicious, which attacks techniques are trending, and which sectors are being targeted. When threat intelligence is integrated into the response ecosystem, the system becomes proactive. For example, a new vulnerability is published if we combine with our internal asset inventory, our vulnerability scanners, and external exploit intelligence. The system can automatically identify whether we are exposed. It can prioritize remediation. It can triage alerts. It can even launch predefined mitigation steps. Threat intelligence transforms response from reactive to informed and risk-based. In highly regulated environments, such as our level NIST, DORA, or CRA, organizations are expected to take a risk-based approach. And threat intelligence integration supports these expectations. It allows organizations to focus on what is truly critical, not just what is visible. When intelligence is mapped to a framework like MITRE, we also gain visibility into attackers' tactics and techniques. This improves detection logic and strengthens the playbooks. Now, let's bring everything together. Incident response today is not a single tool. It is not only CM, not only EDR, not only SOC team, it's ecosystem. In this ecosystem, different components work together. CM detects and correlates events. EDR monitors endpoints. Threat intelligence provides external context. And vulnerability management identifies weaknesses, and asset inventory tells us what we actually own. And ticketing systems manage workflows. And at the center, orchestration connects them. Automation allows this system to exchange information instantly. Instead of isolated alerts, we get enriched cases. Instead of manual coordination, we get structured workflow. An ecosystem creates visibility. Visibility enables control. Control enables resilience. And in the middle of the ecosystem, we still have people. Automation support them, support us. AI assist, but humans remain responsible. And let's briefly connect to the regulation frameworks like NIST, the DORA and Cyber Resilience Act require fast detection, structured incident management, and timely reporting. For example, needs to introduce strict reporting timelines. DORA requires documented and controlled ICT incident handling. The Cyber Resilience Act requires continuous vulnerability management and reporting to actively exploited vulnerabilities, as my colleagues mentioned. These obligations are operationally demanding. Without automation, they are difficult to scale. So regulation defines what must be done. Automation helps us to do it efficiently and consistently. Up to this point, we have focused on response, but the real objective is not only to respond, it is to become resilient. Resilience means the ability to absorb disruption and continue operating. It remains reducing impact, reducing downtime, and reducing uncertainty. When response is manual and fragmented, resilience depends on individual efforts. When response is automated and integrated, resilience becomes systemic. Automation reduces response time, orchestration reduces coordination gaps, threat intelligence improves decision quality, and structured playbooks ensure consistency. Together, these elements transform incident response from reactive handling into operational resilience. When incidents are handled through structure and automated systems, we can measure performance. We can track mean time to detect, mean time to respond, incident trends, root causes. This enables continuous improvement, and continuous improvement is the foundation of long-term resilience. And finally, as we conclude, I would like to summarize a few key ideas. First, automation increases speed in modern threat environments. Speed is critical. Second, orchestration increases coordination. Security tools must work together. Teams must operate within structured workflows. Third, intelligence improves decisions. Threat intelligence and AI-assisted analysis provide context, and context reduce uncertainty. Fourth, governance insurance accountability. No matter how advanced our tools are, final responsibility remains human. And finally, integration enables resilience when systems are connected, when processes are structured, and when automation supports execution, incident response become scalable and predictable. And incident response will always require human expertise. But in complex digital ecosystem, humans must be supported by intelligent system. That was from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sashka. Very engaging. I used the opportunity to share a useful resource in context of what you said, so I'm not going to do any follow-up. Now I see Miro maybe taking the floor. Present us what is next, what is upcoming. Thank you, Miro.
Yes, I would like to say a few words at the end of our workshop today. I would like to thank you, Dafina, for the way you presented your daily work related to incident handling, and also to my colleague Sashka Yasin for the practical guidance they shared. I'm pleased to invite you to our next workshop, which will take place on 30 March 2026 from 2 p.m. Central European Time. In the next workshop, we will move from incident response to vulnerability handling and proactive resilience. We will focus on designing and structuring a full vulnerability management process, scanning, identification, registration, risk evaluation, tracking, remediation, and reporting. The goal is to understand how weaknesses are transformed from technical findings into managed risk. We will also examine how a software bill of materials works in practice. We will discuss how to build and maintain an SBOM, how it supports transparency in the supply chain, and how it connects to regulatory expectations, including product security obligations. Finally, we will demonstrate how structured assessment logic, such as Oscar workflows, can support traceability, accountability, and maturity evaluation in vulnerability management. Once again, thank you for your participation, and you are welcome to join our next workshop.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day ahead. Thanks a lot for joining us and spread out the word. Also filling in the feedback form that you would be seeing in the repository will also be highly appreciated. We have on the 30th the vulnerability management workshop, and on the 27th of April we'll wrap up the session with risk management. Thank you again. Have a great day ahead, and thank you to all the panelists.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Thank you.